The International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance and the European Union launched a project to consolidate democracy in the Gambia on Thursday. The project, titled EU Support Consolidation of Democratic Dispensation in the Gambia, was launched at the Sadauda Kerbajawara Conference Center in Bijilo. The project will be implemented by the International IDEA in collaboration with key stakeholders and partners, including the National Assembly, the National Human Rights Commission, and the Gambia Press Union. Speaking at the launch event, the EU ambassador to the Gambia, Corrado Papaloni, highlighted the goals of the project.
Our goal as a partner is to accompany the Gambia in its transition to a solid democratic governance that is benefiting all its citizens. In a time of trouble where populist and anti-democratic forces gain traction around the world, including on our European continent, we are constantly reminded the need to be both modest and ambitious. Modest because democracy is fragile and is never set in stone. Our efforts have to be consistent and constantly renewed. Ambitious because democracy is the only political system that ensures that the citizens' voices are heard, that leaders who will represent the majority of their population get elected in a free, fair, and transparent fashion. Democracy goes hand in hand with the rule of law and human rights. However, democracy needs also people's active participation. With these pillars that ensure that minorities and oppositions are respected and that everyone is subject to the same law, societies may prosper and develop and harmoniously in the long run. Democracy is a journey that requires constant nurturing and consistent dialogue. It needs structures, institutions that function effectively, protect the rights of citizens, and ensuring their voices are heard. This belief is at the core of CODE.
Emmanuel Daniel Diouf, chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, expressed appreciation for the inclusion of his institution in the project. He believes that the project will further strengthen the democratic transition gains in the Gambia.
And in this particular project, which is aimed at supporting a participatory, inclusive, and human rights-based democratic transition in the Gambia, and I believe this particular project will further strengthen and develop our democratic transitions and gains. This support will provide technical assistance and further strengthen the capacity development to the national, other partners, but of course to the National Human Rights Commission, which was established by an act of the National Assembly in 2017, became operational in 2019 as an independent national human rights institution with a broad mandate to promote and protect human rights, including the powers to monitor, receive, investigate, and with quasi-judicial powers to consider complaints of human rights violation in the Gambia and to recommend remedial action to the government and seek appropriate redress on behalf of victims.
The Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Fabakary Tombonjata, said that the project will strengthen the Assembly's mandate to scrutinize public affairs, among other things.
Enhancing the National Assembly's role in consolidating democracy harmoniously provides a state of relief to both our political and geopolitical constituents on the tenacity to reinforce advances in peace, freedom, and equality. Suffice it to say that this project intervention to support our role as parliamentarians will usher in numerous opportunities that would strengthen the institutional capacity of the National Assembly to undertake legislative and policy review and to ensure that democracy, the rule of law, and human rights are upheld at all levels of society by the government. In other words, The project will, amongst others, strengthen the Assembly's mandate to public scrutiny, legislation, and monitoring of government's excesses and conduct in governance.
Mohamed Esba, president of the Gambia Press Union, highlighted how GP will implement the project.
Under this 3-year project, the capacities of Gambia Press Union staff and journalists will be strengthened in the following areas: through training on legal provisions when seeking redress from the courts, and to develop an assault guide for journalists; training on conflict-sensitive reporting and media coverage in the implementation of the recommendation of the Gambia government white paper on the TRRC report; training of media editors and managers on preventing sexual harassment and exploitation, and the adoption of an industry-wide sexual harassment policy by media houses. Through this, the GPU will utilize its enhanced capacity meaningfully to implement its mandate, assist and support media to report on constitutional, electoral, and institutional reform processes in a socially responsible manner that best serves the public interest.
The EU-supported consolidation of democratic dispensation in the Gambia aims to support the Gambia's democratic transition by promoting participation, inclusion, and respect for human rights, with focus on 3 key areas to establish sustainable democracy, good governance, peace, and security. Reporting for Kerr, Fatou, I am Ramatullah Jao.